This week on Cars with Big Boy Trev, we preview the updated Volkswagen Touareg SUV, now enhanced with plenty of technology, performance and safety. Finally, we review the much anticipated Nissan Qashqai. We check out its styling, practicality, performance, 4x4 hardware, and evaluate whether it can upstage the segment leader, the Hyundai Tucson, and many more. Catch this and much more only on Cars with Big Boy Trev this Sunday at 5 p.m. only on NTV.
Now, this is the key to Nissan's latest crossover, the Qashqai. When its price is starting from 6.8 million, do you reckon this is your next crossover? We start this particular review by taking a look at the design face of this particular vehicle, and my, oh my, has the Qashqai transformed. I know, in Kenya, we've had the Qashqai in different derivatives. In the grey market, it was called the Dualis. And of course, if you're buying it from the UK, it was the Qashqai. But the previous generation was a little bit bland, but this one is such a looker. Take a look at that design. Bold, butch, and I can tell you, Nissan have really improved in terms of aesthetics and quality. Front profile. The big thing that you notice is the V-motive design by Nissan. And of course, the grille. Trapezoidal, you've got this horizontal slats that give this car some je ne sais quoi. The brand new 2D logo for Nissan, and of course, bits of chrome to give this car some je ne sais quoi. Well, and you can see the lights as well. You've got this horizontally opposed design. Instead of trapezoidal, it's got a kink on it. So these are the daytime running lights, and then the full beams that are full LEDs to illuminate the road as you traverse the beautiful country of Kenya. I love the lower part of this particular vehicle. It's color coded, as you can see, dark black as well, with the lip there to give this car some off-road credentials. You've got parking sensors as standard as well. And of course, you're able to see what they have done in terms of making sure that this particular vehicle is aerodynamic. Quick fact, this particular vehicle has a drag coefficient of 0.32, meaning it slices through the wind like hot knife through butter. Again, the windscreen, aero rect as well, maximum fuel efficiency. But the most important thing is the engine. Now, the Nissan Qashqai comes in one engine derivative for this market. So it's actually powered by a 1.3 liter turbo petrol, 110 kilowatts, 250 newton meters of torque, and power can be sent to either front or four wheels courtesy of a 7-step CBT transmission. And I don't like CVTs, but the name of the game is efficiency. This allows this particular vehicle to return an average fuel consumption figure of 6.2 liters per 100 kilometers. You've seen the design, very aerodynamic, very bold, because the crossover segment is very competitive. But does this correspond to the side? Let's move to the side profile of this Nissan Qashqai. Now, as you move to the side profile, again, this is where the elements of the design mash up to form this aerodynamic design that runs across the side profile. As you can see, the front fender, the lines here just correspond to the lower hip line that runs across all the way to the back. And of course, you do have the wheels. You have this plastic cladding on the wheel arch. And of course, we have this very brushed gun metallic color on the rim. This is a 17-inch rim, can fit up to 19-inch. But of course, because of Kenyan high profile, they've actually fitted this particular one with a 215/65/17 tire to give you maximum comfort and of course good grip as you traverse the beautiful country of Kenya. And of course, as you move to the passenger cell, this is where all the magic happens. Despite this being a safety cell, there's plenty of design. I love the fact that Nissan have introduced a lower line, window line, with chrome to give this car some je ne sais quoi. Why? Because you want the concept of light getting into the cabin that everybody feels is spacious. And of course, the door panels, they've got this subtle design on the very lower part of the door. There's this edge design that runs across, and a plastic cladding that runs across from the wheel arch, the lower floor, all the way to the back, giving this car some off-road credentials. As you move to the rear quarter, where the rear passengers are, again, the windows are large to ensure that there's enough lighting in this particular car. As you have this rear third window as well. Again, they've thought about single things about this. Now, this thing is normally found on many crossovers. If you watched our previous review of the Kia Sonet, we've also done the Isn't it running Julian? You watched? Now, let's take a look at this kink, the rear fan. You see this kink on many crossovers. We did a review of the Jolion, has the same thing. We done the Sonnet, has the same thing. So it's a design of crossovers. And of course, it's got that coupe-like design, again giving this car some sporty look and feel. Now, as we move to the rear part of the vehicle, this is where all the elements merge and converge to form a very unique design. We've got this wrap-around trapezoidal headlamps. These are LEDs, by the way. Looks very good at night. We have this infused rear diffuser as well, the third stop braking light, so that whenever this guy is braking, anybody who's following can actually see. Then this coupe line design as well runs across and drops, giving this car some je ne sais quoi. The rear panel as well, you've got the letters Nissan with the new logo, the Qashqai, you know, this edgy design where you put the number plate holder, and the color-coded bumper with the contrast, the plastic cladding. Remember that runs across on the door seal, wheel arc, front lip. Again, they've thought about every single thing about the design elements. But the biggest question still remains, how good is the design of the interior? Let's step inside and have a look at the interior of this Nissan Qashqai. So ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the design of this Nissan Qashqai Crossover. I told you this market is so competitive, so everybody's trying to get an edge over the other. So what's the edge of this Nissan Qashqai? We start with the design of the interior. The first thing you notice is the forward cap design. I always say that the forward cap design is basically the dashboard has been placed further away to create an illusion of space. It's a technique manufacturers use to increase the volume, to make it look like it is spacious. Yes, the dimensions are quite compact. Now, this particular dashboard, I like the fact that it's a one-piece design, but it's got two tires. So the top tire actually is a very smooth design. They have used soft plastic as well. And of course, on the second layer is where the magic happens. You've got this 7.5-inch multicolor and display system that actually houses quite a number of things. You've got a massive screen. It's a 7.5 multicolor touch display that's high resolution. On the higher spec of the Qashqai, you've got a larger 12-inch display, but this one just works fine. So on this one, you've got quite a number of settings because it incorporates the infotainment system. So you can actually pair your phone using Bluetooth, and of course it's hands-free. Your microphone is right here, and of course the answer and reject button on the satellite buttons on the steering wheel. And of course, if you love music like myself, then you've got Bose speakers surrounding this particular vehicle. And if you just play like that, and it will just give you some very good sound. So like that, it's got a very fantastic sound system, which allows you to enjoy crisp, clear notes with a lot of bass. And of course, if you don't want to listen to radio, then you can actually stream music via Bluetooth or USB port that has been supplied in the vehicle. And of course, this particular system supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wirelessly. So you're able to pair this, and it actually creates an extension of your phone. And if you have music on your phone or use apps like Spotify, then you're able to listen and enjoy this particular Qashqai very easily. I mean, the connections are fantastic. And as you can see here, many people are actually enjoying good music and good quality courtesy of Nissan. One thing I love about Nissan, by the way, is the fact that they have improved tremendously in terms of fit and finish. The quality on this particular vehicle is amazing. Nissan have never been known for quality, but I can tell you for a fact the Qashqai is built to the highest standards. Why? Simply because the segment is very competitive. People like Kia, Hyundai are building vehicles that have very good materials and finish. And even as you can see here on this second tire of the dashboard, you've got stitched. Actually, it's pleather, but it's stitched and contrast stitching. You've got this stainless steel X that runs across with the V motive design. I mean, these guys are doing themselves. So right below it as well, you do have the dual zone climate control system that allows you to change the different settings of the cabin depending on where you are. If you're in Mombasa, it's quite hot, you need cold air, crank up the cold, and I can tell you the AC just was very ice cold air. If you're in Limuru and it's quite cold, you can crank up the heater and the cabin also gets hot. And also the passenger can actually control the different settings, making it a pleasant experience while in the Nissan Qashqai. The rear passengers also have their own vents as well, and a few of their settings right here. Now, right below it, you do have also an area where you can actually control quite a number of things. You've got wireless charging as standard. So if your phone has wireless charging capability, then you're able to control that. Number 2, you also have a 12-volt socket to power up any other device, and you've got a start-stop keyless entry system that allows you to start the vehicle quite easily. Now, moving to the gearbox console as well, you've got a very interesting finish. This one looks like it's called a faux wood trim, which makes it look very good. Some je ne sais quoi. Again, you've got this very short, stubby shifter that allows you to pre-select the CBT transmission, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and sport. And of course, you also have electronic park brake and auto hold for traffic. And of course, you have different modes. So this particular vehicle is a 4-wheel drive version that we're going to test. And of course, you've got tarmac, you've got snowy settings, you've got rock and hilly settings. So you need to have maximum traction, grass, and of course, dynamic when you need the power of that 1.3-liter turbo engine. Now, 2 cup holders comes as standard, and you've got also cubby hole here to fit some things. You can actually hide from prying eyes. I don't know why it is not opening, but I guess it's just like that. So anyway, you can hide some stuff right here quite easily, and it's actually padded for added comfort. We move to the instrument pinnacle. So this particular model has your traditional analog system. So the dials are very beautiful. The italics are very easy. On first glance, you're able to see what's happening. On the right-hand side, you have the tachometer. And the right-hand side, you do also have a speedometer. And in between the 2 dials, you do have the temperature and fuel setting. And in between the 2 dials as well, you do have a multi-information display that gives you vital information. The door is open, if the vehicle is on, and quite a number of things. Whatever is happening on the vehicle, you're able to know what is happening. And of course, on the higher spec version of this particular Qashqai, you do have heads-up display as standard. Now, I love the steering wheel, the new Nissan design, this spoke design. Left-hand side on the satellite buttons, everything to do with the audio system. Right-hand side, everything to do with adaptive cruise control, which comes as standard in this particular Nissan. Again, they've thought about every single thing about comfort and elegance, but they also have paddle shifters for you to explore the full potential of that gearbox and the engine. 6'1", seat is comfortable. On this level, on this trim, it's manual adjustment. But on the higher spec, we do have power seats, 6-way adjustable seats, both tilt and telescopic steering like this. So you're able to adjust quite easily as you fit and drive this car. So ladies, if you're looking for a car that's very comfortable and adjustable to your preference, the Nissan Qashqai is the one for you. But the biggest question still remains, how good is the rear passenger seat? If you have kids, you're a young family, will they be able to fit comfortably? Let's move to the back side and have a look at the quality and the space of the Nissan Qashqai. We move to the back seat, and one thing I love about the Qashqai is plenty of space. That seat has been set to my height, 6'1". But as you can see, I've got good leg room, good headroom, and I can tell you the passengers will feel very comfortable in the Nissan Qashqai. You've got a lower tunnel right here to ensure that 3 people can sit 3 abreast quite easily and very comfortably. There are headrests, 3 of them, 3-point safety belts, proper space. But if you're only sitting 2 people in your maximum comfort, then you can untoggle this headrest to reveal 2 cup holders as well, and an armrest so that you're able to enjoy the journeys with the Nissan Qashqai. I love the fact that they've introduced ISOFIX anchors on the seats. I love the bolstering on the seats. They're very comfortable and supportive. And of course, if all hell breaks loose, then you can rely on the curtain airbag that runs across from the front to the back to prevent head and thorax injuries in case of a side impact or a rollover. ISOFIX anchors comes as standard. You can actually fix your child seat very easily. The doors actually open quite wide, about 60 to 70 degrees, so making it very easy for you to put in your child seat in and out. I love the fact that they've thought about airline style pockets, although on the driver's side there's none, but on the passenger, this particular trim doesn't have, but on the higher ones they do. You've got vents here, you've got 2 sockets for charging your devices, so one USB Type-C and USB Type-A, so you're able to charge your devices quite easily at the back of this particular cabin. Practicality also on the door bins, also big space. You can actually fit a water bottle quite easily, and you've got stitched leather on the door panels, giving this car some je ne sais quoi. Now let's move to the boot and see the space of the Nissan Qashqai. So when you move to the back, the first thing you notice is the soft touch opening on the boot to reveal very, very big space. So the average size is about 550 liters, roughly about 5 average size suitcases. So if you're traveling to Ushago, you need to carry some potatoes, onions, and many other things, be able to fit them quite easily. One thing I love about the Qashqai is the flat floor. So it's very easy to put in stuff, pull them out. You also have some tie-down hooks to ensure that whatever you're carrying can be secured. And of course, you've got a charging socket here for your devices in case of anything. Underneath, you also do have a mat that is supplied by Nissan and a false floor as well. You've got a full-size spare wheel, and of course, your other equipment like your jack and your first aid kit make it very easy and very practical for you to carry stuff. You've got a parcel shelf, rear parcel shelf, to prevent prying eyes from taking a look at what you're carrying. So in terms of practicality, it's up there. It's practical enough for a young modern family. But the most important thing is, how does it feel on the road? What's the handling like? What's the value for money? Let's head out on the road and feel the power and, of course, give you value for money of this Nissan Qashqai. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this particular vehicle, this is the Nissan Qashqai, the next generation. And I can tell you, Nissan have worked extremely well to build this particular vehicle. What do I mean by that? Nissan have thought about designing a vehicle that is very comfortable, capable, and of course, very practical for the young modern family. So what is the DNA about this Qashqai that makes it tick? We start with an engine. So in Kenya, we're only having one derivative, a 1.3 liter turbo petrol that produces 110 kilowatts or 150 horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque, which, by the way, the power is sent to the 4 wheels, because you have an option of 2 wheels, courtesy of a 7-step CBT transmission. CVT, the name of the game, it's all about efficiency. So I don't like CVTs because of the droning issues and the lack of fuel. However, Nissan have put this particular CVT to improve fuel efficiency and gives you a combined fuel efficiency of 6.2 liters per 100 kilometers, which is fantastic considering that this particular vehicle is an urban vehicle. Not many times people use this vehicle to go up country. So in terms of efficiency, it's fantastic. Now, let's talk about the chassis. I love the chassis because this chassis is part of the CMF, Common Modular Family, that Renault Nissan are actually employing on their vehicles. So it's sturdy enough, it's scalable. Of course, the same chassis you also find in the Nissan X-Trail, the Rogue, and many others, the Kicks, that are all in this particular category. And of course, it's light and very durable. So Nissan have thought about getting a chassis that's also very wide to create an illusion of space inside the cabin, stability, and so much more. Now, up front, because handling is very important, you do have McPherson Strut standard, which actually have long stroke suspension to ensure that the wheel is planted at any given time. And at the back, you do have multi-link rear suspension, which is also good because you're also driving on a carbon paved surface, and it is actually absorbing the road imperfections quite easily. I like the ride, it's supple enough and feels planted. Now, Nissan have actually employed something called chassis control. So it beefs up the steering wheel and quickens the transmission so that the shifts higher depending on the modes. Speaking of the modes, this particular vehicle, because it's 4-wheel drive, has different modes. You've got your dynamic setting, which actually is, I'd call it a sport mode. So it actually sharpens the steering wheel and, of course, the transmission. Of course, when you do mud, rut, sand, and snow, it dampens the throttle so that it gives you maximum grip at any given time. And that's the beauty of having a vehicle that can do all round. So this is not a patrol, but it gives you a 4-wheel drive system that works on urban and semi-urban areas, and you'd enjoy driving this particular vehicle. Now, let's talk about safety. Safety is a critical component in the Nissan Qashqai has a repertoire of quite a number of things. From an active front, you do have the ESP, which is the umbrella system that controls anti-lock braking system, prevents wheel locking, enabling you to control the vehicle on emergency braking. You have brake assist, electronic brake force distribution. And of course, now the second layer, you do have adaptive cruise control. On the higher spec of the Nissan, you have adaptive cruise control. Not only that, you do have blind spot assist, lane keep assist, co-traffic alert, and so much more. But in case all hell breaks loose, then you can rely on the 5-star passenger safety rated cell to protect you from injury, because impact energy is dissipated away from the cabin onto the chassis, the harder areas, so that that energy can be absorbed. Crumple zones are standard, and of course you do have 6 airbags as standard in this particular Nissan Qashqai. So it makes sure that you and your family are safe. That's what crossovers are for, because it's multi-talented, it's safe enough, it's practical enough, you can do all sorts of things. But in terms of suspension, I told you can do a bit of off-roading. When you have roughly about 179 millimeters, it's not too bad, can do a little bit of off-roading. If you live in Kitengela, Rongai, or far-flung areas, I can tell you for a fact that the Nissan Qashqai can take whatever it is because of this all-wheel drive system, X-drive system. Now, we've talked about so many things, but what is the value for money proposition? When you're looking for such a car, what are you looking for? Does this vehicle tick all your boxes? Let's head out and do value for money. So that has been the review of the Nissan Qashqai. Stylish, capable, practical, very fuel efficient and safe. But the biggest question still remains, is this your next SUV? We come to a segment called value for money and we start with the pricing. Now this particular vehicle is sold and serviced by Nissan Kenya, and of course the price starts from Kenya shillings 6.8 million, and of course comes with a 3-year 100,000 kilometer warranty, whichever comes first. Plus you can rely on Nissan Kenya's extensive network to maintain and keep this Qashqai safe on the road. Now, we do know this particular vehicle exists in a space but there's so much competition. Who are the key rivals in this particular segment of crossovers? Of course, we do have the Haval Jolion, which reviewed and cast the Big Boy Trev. We also did the Kia Sonet. We also did the Volkswagen, which is called the T-Cross, and many others that are fighting in this category. So, based on those vehicles, you reckon the Nissan Qashqai has the edge over everyone else? Send us your thoughts as seen on the social media handles below. Head back to you the feedback. Let's stick signing out. This is Big Boy Trev. After the show, please go to our YouTube channel. Check out thousands and thousands of videos that we've shot on CBBT. So until next week, on behalf of Magic Real Pictures and of course the whole team, drive safe.